Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the homestead. I haven't videotaped in a while, so I thought I'd give you an update on what's been done, where we are, what the next steps are, and what we're looking forward to getting done. So, I'm going to do it this way. If you can see behind me, there's the driveway coming in. We're going to be working on that today, weed eating it, trimming it up so when we move the fifth wheel in, it won't be brushing up against a whole bunch of brushes and branches, tearing things up. Clean it up a little bit because we're not here all the time. It looks kind of scraggly. But I was watching some old videos, and I looked at the one where we first came out here and saw the property before we had done anything. The day we came out and walked it first, and I realized that we had made so many changes from that first original decisions, like, you know, oh, we could put this here and we could put that there, like you do when you look at a property. And everything is different. Like, we didn't go with hardly anything we decided that day, or we talked about even that day, because we didn't make decisions. We just talked about it. But nothing that we talked about that day really came out the way we originally thought it would, which is just the nature of it. So, I'm sorry, I have to keep track of the dog today. Levi's with us today, because him and Natalie are here visiting from Nebraska. So I just got to make sure he's not getting into anything. He's a good dog. I'm not too worried about it. So I thought what I would do is I'm going to stand in the same place, or about, where we filmed that one section where we talked about what was going to go where, what we thought would fit where, and show you how different it is. Now, part of the reason is that I've got that video ready to go on YouTube, and I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I just thought it would be kind of cool to say, okay, this is where we were at this point, and now this is what it looks like today. So we were here in November. So obviously it's now summer and spring has come and everything is green. Then everything was brown. But we've taken out a lot of trees. We've put in some driveway and gravel and all kinds of neat stuff. So I'm going to turn you around and show you the difference between that video, which I'm hoping to put out in the next couple of days, and today. And so today it's the end of August. So it's been, what, 8, 9 months, 10 months since I stood here and showed and videotaped it for the first time. Now we're going to videotape it, what it looks like today. So here we turn you around. So this is where we were standing approximately the first time we came out, and we talked about we were going to put houses or the RV. So we basically thought that where I'm standing now would be garden. So the idea originally was to put all the garden like right here. The garden is not going here. It's actually going back there where those trees are. The house is going pretty much right here. The berm house, when we build, it'll be right in this area facing south. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a wooden stake right there. I'll walk out to it. So there's a wooden stake right here. This is where our solar panels will go. Hopefully in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we'll have solar set up out here. So in the original video, there were a whole bunch of trees right here. A bunch of cedar trees. And this was actually kind of its own separate area back here. Now it's all opened. And all the cedar trees that were in this area are gone. And then, for those of you who have watched some of our previous videos, the canning shed is going through that area back there. So, this is one of the few trees we managed to save, or that we wanted to save and are saving. But we talked in the original video about putting the RV like right there. And it's going right there. So this is one of the new projects that Chris got done a couple weekends ago. He managed to finish up. We are putting an RV cover over our RV, so it'll hopefully stay a little cooler and keep the rain and the weather off. But as you can tell, the ground, now you can really see how much of a grade we have in our ground. And rather than building up the ground, we just built up where the RV is going to be. The RV cover is going to sit. So the wooden walls are to hold the RV cover. They're full of dirt. They're packed with dirt and lime. They're solid. they will hold the RV cover. It'll be staked down into the wall. So it will be nice and sturdy. Then we're going to actually strap them in after they put it in. But you can see that he's done a bunch of dirt work in there, tamped it all down, put in some lime to help it harden up a little bit. And then we'll be able to park the RV, have plenty of room to raise the RV to get the RV level without worrying about the ground too much. This area right here that you can see we've been driving on with the four-wheeler and stuff, that will actually be the driveway eventually to the berm house. So, but I just thought it would be kind of cool to come kind of stand in the same area and talk about, you know, we were going to do the garden here, and we were going to do the fifth wheel over there, and we were going to do the house somewhere over here, you know. But it's kind of fun to compare what we talked about that day with what we're actually doing and how things actually worked out. So the other thing is we're going to be putting a clothesline here where I'm standing right now. And that's not even something we even talked about that day. So when it was just, you know, our first visit here, our first thoughts, our first impressions. So I just kind of wanted to come back and look at it and say, oh, this is what we did and this is what we didn't do. And, you know, this is how things change. When you start with a blank slate, you look at so many different options that you can't imagine it. And then when you start actually walking the land and getting things figured out and trying to find where things will fit, where things won't fit, or for whatever reason they, you know, you change your mind. So it's interesting to see that, to compare now with what our initial thoughts were. By now you've seen some video of the driveway. In the original video we talked about talking to the farmer next door and using what he had created as an access road for his property as our driveway. Like putting it in as a driveway, maintaining it for him, he could use it. We decided not to do that for a multiple of reasons. One being that you just never know. We'd rather it be on our land. We know we always have control of it. We don't have to talk to anybody else. We don't have to deal with anybody else. Property sells and changes hands. It's not an issue. It would have probably been a lot faster and we would probably already be on the property. But we kind of like the secluded drive that we have. It's treed and it's partially shaded and it's quiet and you can't see it from the road. So it just had its benefits, and then it's ours and we don't have to worry about any of that. So in the original video that we did, we talked about that, but didn't do that. So that's just one more thing that we ended up changing our mind about later down the road. But that's the thing. You dream, and dreams change, and you say, this is what I think will work, and then you look at it a little better, and you get familiar with the area, and you decide, nope, this is what's going to really work. This is what we need to do. So the options out here were unlimited. We could have done anything, anywhere we wanted to do, pretty much. But this layout is what we feel like will work best for us, for what we want to do here on the property. And with our goals looking 5 years, 10 years down the road, this setup, you know, the main thing we had to decide is where we're building the house. Because everything is eventually going to circle around the house itself. Not the RV where we're going to be short term, but the actual house. So when we decided this is where we want the house, then we had to say, okay, then the garden needs to be over here, and the canning shed needs to be over here, and this needs to be here, and this, you know. So that's the thing we had to look at. That's what everything rotates around in the end, is the house. Where's the house going to end up? And that's what we had to decide on, is where the house is going to be, and then go from there. So the RV is short term, be 2 or 3 years, hopefully not that long, but somewhere around that area before we actually get the house built. And then we can say, okay, now we need to do this or that or whatever, so that we know where everything else is going to go from there. Eventually there'll be barns. Chickens will also be down by the garden. That's the one thing that that I didn't mention a minute ago was the chickens. Chickens will be the first animals on here, and they will be down by the garden area so that they can have snacks when we clean out the garden, and we can have close compost and those kinds of things. Lots of things still haven't been decided. Don't know where we're putting our compost piles. Little things like that. But those are things that will come as we come through and put things in and build this or that or the other. Then we'll know kind of where the other things will be, like where everything will end up being as it's needed, because we'll be adding constantly. It's going to be growing quite a bit. That's the fun part of it, is planting it, growing it, and seeing things change and doing projects, growing it little at a time. I'm anxious in some ways to see what it'll look like in 5 years, and then I think, oh, what all can we do in 5 years? So we're excited. We're getting close. The solar stuff has been ordered, so it will be here. I got a text from our solar guy yesterday. He's picking up panels today. Batteries are on the way, components are on the way. I'm hoping our RV cover comes in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and hopefully the solar will be right behind that. It's going to allow me to put solar in right behind that. Then the water catchment will be done, and which that we're doing ourselves, and then it's just a matter of moving and getting everything set up for the move itself. I gotta find somebody to move the house, and I have to box up all the stuff in the trailer. It's no different. You would think you could just hook it up and haul it, but it doesn't work that way. So I gotta pack a bunch of stuff up, take a lot of weight out of it, which is just necessary. Totally understandable, but you think, oh, just hook it up and haul it on. No, it doesn't work that way. So that's kind of where we're at. We're waiting on the RV cover and then the solar. And in the meantime, we'll be working on the rain catchment and getting that situated. So when the RV cover's here, we can put on the gutters and start catching rainwater if it would rain. And that's where we are. So I just want to give you guys a quick update. I thought it was kind of fun to go back and look at all the things that have been different than what we originally thought. And it would be fun to see how things are progressing. I hadn't videoed in a while and thought, well, today's the day to do it. So Natalie's here visiting from Nebraska, and her and Chris are on a walk. I've hurt my toe, and hiking is not my thing today. So the dog and I are hanging out up here, and they're off on the trails exploring, and then we're going to be working on the driveway. So I will see you guys later. Bye.